It's Daniel Lee Plastering and Rendering Limited here, trading as Guildford Polished Plastering, and this video is a large bedroom renovation. You'll see we're repairing the ceiling, and also we'll be upgrading an external walls insulation. Enjoy. Good morning. So today we are tackling this ceiling. So we've started. It's a little bit more involved than it looks at a first glance. So it's an Artex ceiling. See that stipple there? It's almost textured paint really, like thick textured paint. It has been plastered before. Some lines there to get rid of that. And also there's some strong lines here. We have an unexpected surprise when there's a big bulge here, and as you can see, the actual hole in the ceiling, which is an unexpected surprise. We have to let the customer know about. Some potential water damage there, and then we'll be putting new beads on here as well. You see they're quite loose. First of all, protect. Right, so remove this now. I'm just having a sort of careful, tentative look at the hole. I don't want to be too heavy-handed right off the bat, so I'm just making the hole a little bit bigger, just exploring it a bit further to see what the damage entails. And then as I pull a bit more away, it becomes a bit more clear, and I'm able to sort of work out how far or how much I'm going to need to cut out and remove. After looking and assessing the hole, I've worked out the most suitable perimeter. So I'm now cutting the perimeter with a multi-tool, and I will then remove a nice rectangular section, and that will simplify the repair. So then I'll be able to fix up a new sheet of plasterboard for the repair. We are now ready to fix this board. We've fully protected everything. We're going to get this board up, prepare this ceiling, and then we'll move into the other room we're also working in and start preparing that as well. We are also working in this room. So these two particular walls, this one is an external wall. It's a very, very old cottage, and the customer has asked us to remove this damaged plaster. You see there's some studs that they've added over the years. This is actually a flint stone cottage, not like the cartoon, an actual stone flint built cottage. And I believe they're single skin. Anyway, they've asked us to add 50mm insulation over the walls with plasterboard, and then skim, and that'll much enhance the insulation value of that wall. So that's an external wall. And then this one's blown and damaged. Up there you can see. So that's going to be boarded as well. So fresh board on there, and then plaster just those two walls in here. The rest of the room, they've got a lovely skilled painter and decorator that's going to make everything else look lovely. But those are the two bad walls in this particular room. So I've got this board cut. So for this patch here, you can see, well, you might not be able to tell from there, but that's the roof line is directly above there. And while it's insulated, and this existing board is actually just standard plasterboard, It's actually 9.5mm as well, but it's been plastered and it's got stipple Artex, which has brought it out to closer to sort of 15mm. So we're going to use 12.5mm. Just to be on the safe side, although there's no damp anymore, there's no damp. There was a slight minor leak in the past, but I've been assured that's been fixed, been corrected, and is not getting any worse. That's fine. I do normally like to use foil-backed plasterboard, so you can see it's just a shiny layer of foil stuck to the back. That is a vapour barrier, so that will protect against damp, mould, moisture, anything coming from above, so it's contrasting temperatures. Typically in a roof where the roof and the ceiling meet, in my opinion, it's good practice. You don't always have to, but in my opinion, it's good practice to use a vapour barrier board for the ceilings of the final one. So that's what we're using. Just going to double check it and then. That's ready to go now. The ceiling still needs to be SBR'd and scrimmed and repaired, but what we're going to do first is move into the other room that we're working on and continue the preparation on that one. So today we're going to be preparing, we're going to be hacking off some more old damaged plaster, which you can hear now just started, and then we will be insulating and plasterboarding that wall ready for it to be plastered tomorrow. These are the old lava and plaster. So you can see there, we're whipping off. It's obviously been redone at some point a long time ago. And we're going to rip it all back to the studs. So using claw hammers and little mini crowbars, you'll see we're hacking off all the lava and plaster. I've sped it up obviously, but this does require some serious elbow grease, especially to do it in the speed and timely manner that we've done this in. Splinters inevitable. And then of course once it's all off the wall, it's then bagged up and removed and cleared away as well. Almost there. I've just got these bags of rubber and so we thought we were done, but we didn't actually have the clearance for the added insulation and the windowsill, so we then were asked to whip off the battens and the very original lime plaster off the wall, which actually it came off quite well, which perhaps you might expect given the property has to be a good couple hundred years old, I would say, at a guess, albeit it's had a lot of work done over the years. So on this wall, it's the same cottage where this is an external wall. As it needed repairing anyway, the customers have decided to whip it all off the wall, like you saw earlier, and replace it with 55mm insulation, insulated plasterboard. So that will drastically improve the thermal value of the wall. And at this stage, for this type of renovation, is probably one of the more straightforward methods to insulate the wall. This wall is now dabbed up. You'll notice we've put some screws in these boards. This is 55mm thermal plasterboard, and they do require normally 2 mechanical fixings as well as the dot and dab. So we've actually got quite lucky. There's been timbers in the brick that we've been able to get some very long screws into, so that'll hold that in nicely. And that is almost ready to be plastered. And this room is now fully plastered. Now we've had to do a bit of a rush on this. There's been a little bit of unexpected extra works, which is why I'm here, and Kris was here till it's just gone 9 PM. But that's finished. There's been a few extra bits that we've got to do, but unfortunately we only have tomorrow, and then we're at another job, so have to work a bit later to make it up. But now we are ready to move on into this room. Good morning, the next day, and had a good clean up and tidy in here and getting ready to set the ceiling. Connected. It's an Artex ceiling, quite a large one, with some stipply paint, sort of an Artex stipple. And we're going to make it all lovely and smooth. We are now ready to mix up for the ceiling. It's probably going to be 2.5-3 bags for the first coat. It's quite a large one, this, over 20 square metres. Let's get mixing. Alright, just getting the stilts out, which are amazing for sort of larger ceilings. I will say, when we do use the stilts, I do like the room to be completely empty. It's so easy to just take a little misstep and trip, and over you go. So the clearer the room, especially as you're getting tired, which can happen. Tired and hungry. Okay, we are now got both coats on. We're just starting to flatten. This has been reasonably thick, this Artex, see the lines there. Just going to flatten those out because this is quite thick Artex. This has had a good probably 20-30 minutes just sitting there to tighten it a bit. But it is now ready, so we give it a flatten. This ceiling, I should say, has now had a flatten and a wet trowel, the first wet trowel, so it's looking a bit flatter. There's still some bubbles, you can see over there, but it's looking pretty good. We're just finishing up there, and then once he's finished there, we'll give it another 15 minutes or so, and before we then give it another second wet trowel. This has just had a dry trowel. It's now looking very nice. And it is getting on. I think it's almost, is it 5:30, 6 p.m? But, it's getting on now this evening. We've just got one more little set to do. We're just going to finish these, do these reveals, and those reveals, only a small one, but they need to be done. So we'll get them done, and then try and get some sleep. And the room is now finished. So you see the windows there. A lovely stone wall there, bay window there. I say, personal favourite of mine has to be that wall, flint wall, the way they've framed the two flint walls. I love that. Yes, another job done. I should say they've got a lovely, very highly skilled painter and decorator in to do the rest of this room. So they just wanted the worst of the area plastered. That's why you'll see some walls that aren't plastered. But yes.